Let's go live. We're live? We're live? We're live. Okay, guys. Everyone. First of all, yeah, I'll beat him again. La'idim, Aisu Oida, V'simcha v'zos Arika. 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 Perfect. Okay, today's share is a schis for Akiva Simcha B'Fega, for Ziva Hugim, for Chav Bas Miriam, Ahuv Bas Miriam, and Udar Ben Penina Pel. Also, Simcha Nuchem Ben Sima and Ruchel Basur Pesel. Like to say Pesa. Like to say thank you again for Duso for sponsoring the food for the week, the weekly sponsors. We'd like to thank the Chodesh sponsor for last month and this month, Ashley Rosenbaum. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And the gift that I said everybody's going to get the Mitzvah Shem, a Waterdale McGillis Esther. For coming. Thank you for joining. Thank you for coming. Now you have it. If you don't have the real McGill, you can use this one. This is also a real one. So everybody's going to get one of Mitzvah Shem. It's from Waterdale. I have to thank my wife for having the idea, buying it, and making sure to put the stickers in and setting it up. What? Yes, it's Waterdale. Okay. Now, into the Gemara. Unless there's anything else, anybody else wants to... we're good? All right. Now, we started new from the Oyal Gabi Gomel. It's smack in the middle by the two dots. Oyal Gabi Gomel, which is the Mishnah was talking about, or if you're going to put the sikkah on top of a camel. So you can put it on top of a camel. Masnisamani. Now again, we wanted to know who the Mishnah is like, so let's do this Chazara, and we're going to move on to the new Gemara today. So, Masnisamani, who authored this part of the Mishnah? Rameir, it's Rameir. The Tanya, Chazki, the Tanya.
For you,
Someone makes a sukkah on top of an animal. Rameir Machshir. Rameir says it's kosher. Rabbi Yehuda passes it. My time with Rabbi Yehuda. What's the reason why Rabbi Yehuda says you can't make a sukkah on top of an animal? Al Markra, he says the reason is I have a pusik. Yeah. Rabbi Yehuda says he has a pasuk. Chag sukkah tasel chashavas yamim, that you should make a sukkah for 7 days. Sukkah ruyil shiva shma sukkah. Sukkah she'enu ruyil shiva lo shma sukkah. Basically, the pasuk says you should have a sukkah for 7 days. If it's capable of being there for 7 days, good. If not, not. In this case, you cannot go onto it on the first day of Yom Tov or on Shabbos, so therefore it's no good. So now we're going to go to Reb Meir. What does he do? How come he says it is good? Reb Meir, ha nami midaraisa mechzi chazer. He says no. You're right that midarabanan you can't go on it, but midaraisa, like we said when we learned the Mishnah originally, if you go on it, then you're yotze the mitzvah. So therefore, he says, midaraisa it's kosher, that's why I say it's okay. Obviously, there's the Rabbanan that's a problem, but it's still good for the rest of the days. Rabbanan hu de gazruba, and therefore I say it should be good. This is like we said, this is a new part, it's a new sugya, but we learned it yesterday. Tanu Rabbanan. Asa lebehema doifen, someone wanted to make, now just an understanding, what does it mean wanted to make a wall? So, sukkah, by the schach, there are requirements. By the sukkah, the walls, there's height requirements and so on. But there's no requirement or regulation on what it must be. You could have a steel wall. You could have, you can have sheetrock for walls. You can have wooden walls. You can have whatever you want. You could have steel walls. You could have steel walls on the walls. So now, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so steel, you can have also canvas walls. Now, guys, so you can have steel walls. Now, there's no regulation on the walls, so we say, why not an animal? If you can have walls, why not an animal? So we're going to see. Asal the behema doifen, the sukkah, Rameir paisel. Now Rameir is the one that's machmer, and he passes it. Rabbi Yehuda machshir, and Rabbi Yehuda says it's kosher, you can use it for a sikah, for the walls. Shahayr Meir Aimer. So now we understand, why did he say? Because we have a place where Meir would say, Kol davar sheish beruach chayim, ein oisin oisei loy doifan l'sukkah. You do not, anything that has ruach chayim, anything that's alive, he has a chumrah, you don't make it a wall for a sukkah. V'loy lechi lemavoy, like we explained yesterday, it's using it for the simon. V'loy pasin libirois, and also not for one of the corners by the wells. Touch. Oh, so we explained yesterday. We're doing the chazar. Pasin libirois is basically. You have to ask the guy next to you to show you. So you're about. You see the little bays? You see the little bays on the right side of the column? Yeah. So go down 3 lines, and he says loy doif from the sukkah. That's where we are. Okay. Loy doif from the sukkah, v'loy lechi lemavoy, and not a lechi for a mavoy, meaning for the simon, v'loy pasin libirois, and not the walls to set up sort of for the wells that you could be able to draw from it on Shabbos. V'loy gel lekever, and also it is not a seal for the kavers. The article says like the covering for the casket, which in general would have the same tumah like the mace, but if you were to use this for it, the animal, being that it's alive, cannot be.
We thought it was a blocker for the kahana, like makes a.
No. It cannot give over tumah.
Right. Oh, so
that's it. Technically, it would be a good blocker. Very good. Yes. Mishum Rabbi Saglili, and we heard from Rabbi Saglili one addition. Amru af ein koisin of git nashim. You also cannot write or get nashim. Well, no. He would really would shut this down real quick. But that's exactly it. Very good. So, what?
Last.
So now he says like this. My time with Rav Meir. So now, what's the reasoning of Rav Meir that he says you can't use it? Why is he machmir over here? What's the point? So he says, so now we want to understand, and we have two Amiram, Abaya and Reb Zera are going to explain why Rav Meir is machmir and says you can't use the animal for the walls. Abaya Amar. Shema Thomas. Abai says perhaps it's going to die, meaning that let's say you put the animal up for the wall, and within 7 days or whatever it is, it could just drop dead and it's a problem. Reb Zera Amar Shema Tivrach. Reb Zera says perhaps he's going to run away.
Genius.
So meaning exactly. So that that's what he says. So Reb Meir says they're both explaining Reb Meir what he means and why. So now we're going to see what's the difference between Abai and Reb Zera. So we're going to say like this. The pill kosher, if you have an elephant tied up, Kuli Amalei Pligi, everyone agrees that it's good. Why? Because an elephant, if it's tied, it's not running away, which is interesting. Why can't an elephant just rip off? And elephants are very powerful. So one of the things I heard is there's something called, what?
Why it can't die also?
So I'll tell you, the die part is very easy, because if it dies, what happens? It falls down.
Still high enough.
Perfect. It's still 10 tvachim high. Exactly what Aaron says. It's still 10 tvachim high, so it's still a good wall. So it's dead, you have a good wall, a dead elephant. Geschmack. Great. But running away, how come it can't run away? Elephants are very powerful. The reason is there's something called elephant syndrome or whatever it is. When they're a baby, if you tie a newborn elephant to a rope, it tries to get away, it can't get away. As it's growing, you keep that same power of rope, in its head it thinks it can't escape. So it stays.
It's all the animals.
All the animals, whatever it is, they stay. They think that they don't have the power.
If it's all the animals, it's because of the behemoth.
So soon, we're going to see soon the behemoth. Exactly, the Gemara is going to get to that exactly. So now, but not regarding this, but it's going to give that as an example. Very good. So the inami my yesh benevei losei asara. That what if it dies? You're going to have 10 tvachim in the nevel, in the carcass, the dead animal. You have 10 tvachim. So keep pligi. So there has to be something that they're disputing, right? Can't just say that they agree because they're each bringing a different chiddush. Keep pligi. When do they argue? Bepil she'enei kosher, with the elephant that's not tied up. The man da'amar shematamos lechashinan. According to the man da'amar that he may die. Okay, great. He's not worried about this, so it would be good. That's according to Abaya. The man da'amar gzer shemativrach chashinan. According to the man da'amar that's concerned that the elephant's going to run away, he's taka concerned. Therefore, according to Reb Meir, it would be no good. According to Reb Zera, Shita, explaining the Shita of Reb Meir. So now, Ulaman da'amar gzer shematamos nechosh shemativrach. Very simple. According to Abaya, whose concern is what happens if it's going to die, right? What's more common, dying or running away. It's much more common for it to run away. So maybe he should say the running away should be a problem. So, okay, so then the Gemara says we're masking to that. Fine. Good question. Let's move off of that. So it comes to a different answer. So he comes and says, Ela b'pil she'enei kosher, kula amali pligi. So, meaning, right now we started off, we want to say that they would argue if it's an elephant tied up, there would be a difference. So now we're saying, no, there's no difference. Elephant's tied up, there's no difference. Everyone would agree that it would be fine. So keep pligi. When do they argue? Bebehema kashura, not an elephant, because an elephant we saw there's an issue. What would be the case? A regular animal, meaning that if the animal died, now you don't have the 10 tefachim, because the average animal is not so big like an elephant that if it just drops, you have 10 tefachim there. So if a regular animal would die, it would be a problem. So we say like this. So that's going to be where they argue. So keep pligi. Bebehema kashura. When an animal that's tied up, according to Manda Amar, that says perhaps it's going to die, you are suspicious. You would say it's not a good case. Why? Because if it dies, now you don't have a wall for a sukkah anymore. Why are you not suspect for it? Why are you not concerned? Because it's not going to run away, it's tied up. So 1 second. Very good. Just like we tried doing before, what we did with Abai, we said, okay, if it dies, maybe running away. We're trying to just flip it on Reb Zer and say, okay, you're saying it's going to run away. What happens if it dies? What do you do in that case? So he says, Misha lo ishchicha. It's not so common that it's going to die, so it's not a big question. We're going to do a few more lines and get just 3 words into the next Amud, and it's all connected, so we're going to finish it up. V'ha'ika, Ravcha. So now it's going to come with another question. Very good. You came and said, dying is not so common. Great. But if it's a regular animal and it's alive, animals, like we said, have a gap. Like remember we said there's a 3 tefachim gap when it came to the cows. So there's a gap. So this is not a wall. Maybe it's a problem. So he comes and answers. This is Shai yesterday was worried about the Tzabach Chaim. Here you go. So he says, Vayika Ravcha de Beni Beni. There's a space between its legs. The avidle behutz of a dafno, you stuffed it up with branches and straw. You just like packed it in over there and made it, took poles, sticks, whatever you could, stuffed the gap. That's it. It's not comfortable. So now he says, Vidilma Riva. Okay, so perhaps you can be concerned. Maybe he's going to sit down. So he says, the Mesicha Ba'ashi Milel. You tie cords, you basically put cords around the animal from his head, his feet, his everything, all the way up. There's no possibility for him to sit down. He's connected to the top. You put a beam across on top, whatever. He can't get down.
They have so many equipment over there.
This is not. The whole point is it's a question. The whole point is it's not. This is not a real case.
On beer or on an elephant or any
No, this is a regular animal. It's switched. We switched. We're no longer talking about elephant. This is now. We're no longer talking about elephant. Now we're talking about.
Move down the Zoom. Talking about a goat.
Yeah. No. Now we're talking about the. Okay. Fine. So now we're switching it back. Great. 1 second. You just said you're tying it from the top. Let's go back to what Abaya said. He dies. You said it's no good. 1 second. What? Maybe you could tie it up from the top. Animal, right? Right when we started, we said regular animal, not elephant. If it dies, now you don't have 10 tefachim. 1 second. Let's tie it up from the top. It's going to die. You'll still be tied up. It's not going to go anywhere. Great question. So, Lamanda Amar Gzer Shematamos, which is what Abaya says, Nami Hamasicha Ba'ashim. Why don't you say tie him up from the top? And it should be good. So he answers, Zimnin, the Maikim Law, the Pachis Mishloisha. Sometimes you're going to tie it up with less than 3 tefachim, meaning the animal is, let's say, 7 tefachim tall. It's a smaller animal. So it's 3 tefachim, exact, very good. It's going to be 3 tefachim away from the schach. It's 7 tefachim and a little bit is the animal. The kivan the maisi, and once it dies, kavtza, it sort of like shrinks, it slouches, just a mashahu, which gets it under the 7 tefachim, which means that there's more than a 3 tefachim gap, so you cannot say lavud, velava daite, and the guy won't notice it. It's such a small difference, you're going to think it's tied up from the top. Really it's not, and you won't notice it. So to summarize and recap what this is, right? We just brought a case. The Mishnah says it's talking about putting a animal, not the Mishnah, we brought a case, another case, putting an animal for the wall. Comes Rameir and Rabbi Yehuda. Rameir says it's no good. Rabbi Yehuda says it is good. So we want to understand, why does Rameir say it's no good? Technically, Rameir agrees, Midarais it's okay. But he's saying, he himself puts a chumrah, and he says, I think it's no good. Now we want to understand, okay, why? So comes Abai and Reb Zera, and they're trying to explain Rameir. They're trying to explain Rameir. And the way they say it is, Abai says, oh, why did Rameir say that it's no good? Because he's worried the animal's going to die. Reb Zera says, why does he say it's no good? Because he's worried he's going to run away. And then we go through a whole bunch of cases. If it's tied up, what happens if it dies? What happens if it runs away? If it's an elephant, if it's a regular animal, all the way through, what happens if you tie from the top? And then we get to the end that basically Rameir, it seems like, and going into next week, this is for next week, that Rameir's shita is, his concern truly is that perhaps it's going to die within 7 days. And Rabbi Yehuda, the reason why he says kosher is he doesn't believe it will die. And that's pretty much the summary. Let's do it inside quickly, and then we'll call it a night. And Amir Hashem, we'll see everybody not Monday, it's Purim, and Tuesday, Wednesday, Amir Hashem. Monday night? You want it right here after Megillah? Okay, sure. No, I'll do Zoom, no problem. I'll do Zoom. If anybody wants Zoom, I'm available. So let's do this. So let's quickly do, from where did we get up to yesterday? I'm on the wrong daf. Very good. Rabbi Yehuda no, we got up to, where did we get up to? Yeah. Shkoyach. Yeah, Chasi's right. My time of the mayor. What's the reasoning for a mayor? Abaye Amar Shematamos, right? We said these are the new reasons. Why did a mayor say it's no good? Abaye says perhaps he's going to die. Reb Zera Amar Shemativrach, perhaps he's going to run away. Simple. So now we say, what's the case? Bepil kasher kulei amalei pligi. Everyone agrees when it's a tied elephant. Everyone agrees it's okay. Even Reb Meir. Interesting. If you look at the Rashi says the kulei alma, Abaye and Reb Zera and Shitas Reb Meir. That's it. So even Reb Meir would agree. The nami mayas, because if it would die, yesh ben it would have 10, and obviously if it would run away, it wouldn't run away because it's tied. Ki pligi. So now when do they argue? Bepil she'ena kosher. We're talking about a case of an elephant that is not tied up. L'manda amar shematamos lechashinan. According to the Manda Amar, that the elephant perhaps will die. Lechashinan, you're not concerned. Why? Because you're going to have 10 tvachim. L'manda amar gzeir shemativra chashinan. So that's a case where you see a difference between the two. So now we're going to say, 1 second. L'manda amar, we're going to try to ask on it. L'manda amar gzeir shematamos necha shemativrach. We're asking, according to you that said that it's going to die, you're not concerned. Why? Because you're going to have 10 tvachim of space. Why aren't you concerned that it's going to run away? Why are you only concerned for the less common thing of dying? The more common thing is running away. So he says, no, the Gemara concedes to it and says, Ela bepil she'ena kosher. It's talking about the case, we dropped the whole case of a tied elephant. We're talking about a case of when it's Ela bepil she'ena kosher, when it's not tied. Kule almalei pligi. They all agree and don't argue. So ki pligi, when do they argue? Bebehema. So now we move off of the elephant and we move on to any animal. Bebehema kshura. L'man damar gzeir shematamos chashin. According to Man Damar that perhaps going to die. Abaya, you are concerned. Why? Because if it dies, now you don't have that 10 tvachim space. A wall. Excuse me, not space, the wall. L'man damar gzeir shemativrach lechashin. Why? Because he's tied up. So he's not going to run away. So you do have the wall. Even for the 7 days. L'man damar gzeir shemativrach necha shematamos. We do the same thing. We try to flip it back. According to you that's concerned that it's going to run away, what about if it's going to die during these 7 days? What do you say? I'm not so concerned. It's not so common for them to die. I mean, everything dies, but it's not pinked in these 7 days. The ha'ika ravcha. So now we're trying to drill holes into the wall. The ha'ika ravcha. There is a space, the beni between its legs. So you say, no, the avad lebutz of a dafna, we stuff it with the straw and branches, and we fill up the gaps. The Dilma river. Well, 1 second, perhaps he's going to sit down, so you're going to have a gap on top. So they say the mesicha that you tied ba'ashli with cords milel from above. So now, great. Once you're telling me that you could tie it from above, why don't you say about by the one with dying? This is only by running away. Say it with abaya. So we say nami hamesicha ba'ashli milel. Say the same question that you could tie it up from the top. So the answer is zimnin. Sometimes you stand it up within 3 tfachim of the ceiling, of the schach, close to the schach. They keep the maisi, and once he dies, kavtza, it shrinks, it slouches, and because it's mamish such a small difference you won't see with your eyes, he won't realize it, and he will have a bad wall for the sukkah, and it will be a problem. Rabbi Sai, Have a wonderful night. Afarach and Pidim, and we will see everybody again Wednesday night in Mitzvah Shem.
What is your address and what are your